What's so interesting about Moises Caicedo Chelsea quest? There has been news in circulation that Moises Caicedo would love to join Chelsea and work under the management of Pochettino. However, because of his excellent performance for Brighton last season, his price tag is at a whopping £100 million. Does this make sense? Does Moises Caicedo see himself going to Chelsea this summer? Will it happen? Let's hear what Premier 7 have to say. It is a special night, a special day for the fans of Chelsea and in general persons who are huge followers of the EPL transfer news. The topic today is all about the man from Brighton, Moises Caicedo. For sure, Chelsea have a clear cut in their pursuit of signing this player from Brighton. The Ecuadorian international has made his thoughts known that he would like to work under the management of Pochettino. We all know that Pochettino is now the new manager of Chelsea. However, Brighton values Caicedo at £100 million. What a huge price tag. Does Moise Caicedo worth so much? I give you the time to think about it for a few seconds. Remember, Declan Rice is somewhere close to that or even above that price, having gained that interest from Arsenal, and possibly the signature will be signed very soon before the tour. Moises Caicedo is very young, but he is very energetic. He reminds me of players like Kante, Casemiro, those players who are very robust, strong, have that low center of gravity, everything special about a central defensive midfielder. There could be more players that comes to your minds, but those are the players which I can recall in this modern day. Moise Caicedo, he looks like a Chelsea player because he reminds me based on his image, not fully, but like Makelele who was at Chelsea in the days. He was absolutely amazing for a French player. He was great for France and he was great for Chelsea. And Caicedo can remind Chelsea of how excellent he can be. Possibly he can become a legend as well because he's 21 years old. The thing is, the topic for tonight is what's so interesting about Moises Caicedo Chelsea quest? It is an interesting quest because I mentioned earlier on that Pochettino is now the new manager of Chelsea. And his regular system when he was in the Premier League at Spurs was a 4-2-3-1. And that would really and truly integrate a Caicedo as a central defensive midfielder. We all know that Chelsea have released a few players. For example, Mendy, Kante, Pulisic, and the list goes on. More than five players have left Chelsea. Chelsea have been doing some great business. And not only players they have let go, they have brought in some players as well. That shows you how dangerous Chelsea can be in the transfer market. Chelsea needs an engine in the midfield. Kante was the last engine. And the Moise Caicedo in a Chelsea system can shine because young players normally do well under Pochettino. He managed to create stars like an Harry Kane. Even a Dele Alli was a top player and Son Heung-min. However, I want to let you know that this is just a general talk on Moises Caicedo at this point. The man played brilliant for Brighton. He was one of the main players. Brighton finished above Chelsea. Brighton finished in the top 7. Chelsea finished outside of the top 10. But is Chelsea a bigger club than Brighton? That's a rhetorical question. And that could be the possible reason why Moises Caicedo wants to play for Chelsea, even though Brighton finished in a spot for which they can play in Europe's major competition. He decides he wants to go to Chelsea. He wasn't being like a Trossard who was forcing the move to go to Arsenal, but he made his request known that I want to go to Chelsea. It is already known that McAllister is already a Liverpool player. He signed for Merseyside a long time ago, even before July appears. He was at Liverpool. I watched a clip of him doing his presentation and it was amazing. So imagine if Caicedo stayed at Brighton without a player like McAllister. Then Brighton can suffer. And even though Brighton are looking on players like a McTominay, the complement may not be there. But what about Caicedo is so special? I have been doing a good job by way of the fans, and for now I just want for you to all turn on your notification bell and tune into Premier 7. I have 263 subscribers, so continue to watch, like, comment, share, and subscribe to this amazing channel. Let's have a look on Caicedo as it relates to the transfer market. As I mentioned earlier on, Caicedo is 21 years old, and that shows that he's very young, but he is a top player. He's a midfielder who can play central midfield as another position, but his main position is that of a defensive midfielder. So in that case at Chelsea, he will be the defensive midfielder, allowing Enzo Fernandez to play as a center midfielder who can always play as a defensive mid as well. It is said here that his market value was 75 million euros, but now he is valued at 100 million pounds. That shows you how excellent he is. And he's not an English player like a Declan Rice or a Jude Bellingham. Imagine if he was, then you could expect 150. Further detail shows that he still have a long contract with Brighton because he have signed a new contract. However, he wants to move away and there's a possibility of the transfer being at 58%. So it is more than half, and I think that if Caicedo goes to a Chelsea, it would be a very good move based on the information shared thus far. I can remember seeing him play against Manchester United even at a different position at right back. And I thought that Rashford would have bamboozled him, but he made Rashford look like the opposite end based on my thoughts. I was thinking that Rashford would miss passing because Rashford is full of pace, but he be a man and stood up at his task. And when he was placed in the midfield back, that is where everything turned over, even though McAllister scored a one goal at the last, whereas Brighton won 1-0. That shows you how flexible Caicedo can be. He is reliant as a player. Last season he played in 45 games, 2 goals, 2 assists and 12 yellow cards. A bit reckless. That is something for which I don't like about Caicedo. He's a bit rushing in terms of his tackles, but a lot of persons don't care about that because the more he becomes better at the game, the more he will be in control of his aggression. But aggression is something good for Caicedo, seeing that he knows how to break up play quite well. To me, it's like a mixture of Casemiro and Akante. And you can let me know what you think about that as well. He's not that silky player, but he's that hard tackler. And that is the reason why he gets some yellow cards. But along the way, as I've mentioned before, he will surely improve on that. So that is the statistical details on Moises Caicedo. And I believe personally that this youngster can become an Ecuadorian legend, and if not so far, a great. And he is already a great for Brighton. So he wants to upgrade from a Brighton to a Chelsea, and nothing is wrong with that. Of course, Caicedo is a player that not only Chelsea were looking for, even though by way of a quick note, he wanted to play for a Real Madrid, and many persons did not know that, but I knew that. However, I want to look into some more statistical details on Moises Caicedo to see how interested he will be if to be compared with other players in Europe. And this will be by way of the report from FB Ref. So versus other midfielders, it shows here that Moises Caicedo is a midfielder, of course. That is his main position in the green right here. But for this section, it shows that he's not so good. Forget about that. He's not a striker. He's not a forward. He's a midfielder. So the passing completion for 21-year-old, 85 percentile right here. Excellent. Passing completion, 90 percentile. That is a big, big plus for Chelsea. That can help players like an Nkunku, a Madueke, and a Jackson, or even a Sterling to get more chances to score goals and to make assist or create chances for their teammates on the pitch because you need someone who can break up play and can string the ball. I can't recall seeing Moise Caicedo being a person who string the ball a long distance, but for short spaces and for those intricate passes, he knows how to play the ball well through the line. And playing beside an Enzo Fernandez, that is absolutely beautiful. Two youngsters in the midfield who are filled with experience would make Chelsea revolutionized. And for his tackle, 87%. It is absolutely amazing, not to mention or to even forget the interception, 89%. For a short person, his aerial duels aren't bad. But look at it. Interception as a central defensive midfielder, that is what you want. 89%. Tackles, 87%. Pass completion, 94%. Pass attempt, 85 percentile. That shows you how excellent this man is. And that is the reason why he wants to go to play for a better system, a better club, and a better team once everything goes well. Because Pochettino is more known to be a better coach than De Zerbi, who have been doing a good job at Brighton. But if I was in Moise Caicedo's shoes and seeing how Chelsea is good at doing transfers, I would like to make a difference for that club as well. The statistical report shows almost everything about Moise Caicedo. And to me, I believe that all of these things are absolutely amazing. Coming from a club in Ecuador and into the Premier League for a cheap fee, he proved himself because he wasn't valued at 30 million pounds when he just came into the Premier League. But he proved himself being at Brighton for more than a year and showed the world that despite where I'm coming from, I can be one of the world's greatest and or one of the world's best players of all times. And many eyes have been watching Caicedo because Manchester United was one of those clubs who were looking on Moise Caicedo. But we all know that that club is a club that really pains the eye, so I don't want to speak about them too much. So a little news about Moise Caicedo. Chelsea deal for £100 million star now expect to move at Stamford Bridge. So the deal is on because it is a clear way. No one else is going to push out there all to get a Caicedo right now for £100 million. It is said, not in the source, but there is going to be like a preseason tour, of course, of Brighton, but that will be in August. So time is there to get the deal wrapped up, possibly. And right here, Moyes Caicedo is about to, request possibly, but as I've said before, he made it be known. So Mauricio Pochettino's Blue will go ahead to head with the likes of Wrexham and Borussia Dortmund when they complete in fixtures across five American cities ahead of the 2023 to 24 campaign getting on the way. So that was absolutely what I was trying to say there. The preseason tour is going to be played by Chelsea as well, but they're going to play against some well-known clubs. So the news here that according to the Telegraph, Chelsea may have to pay upwards of £100 million for Caicedo as Brighton feels he is of a similar value to Declan Rice, who is on the verge of joining Arsenal from West Ham United. So that is something that triggers the high price tag, but he justified the reason why he is valued at that as well. Of course, the report suggests the Ecuador international has been identified as a top target for West Londoners as the squad undergoes a rebuild under Pochettino, who was appointed as the Blues' new head coach in May, and we know that. So, what has Ben Jacobs said about Caicedo? Want to hear from someone, right? Jacobs told Give Me Sports, I expect this one to move because Chelsea would love to get Caicedo in time for their US tour. They're obviously weird too because who is to say that another bidder won't come in? So there's plenty looking for the type of midfielder, but at the moment Chelsea have had a relatively clear run and they won't want any complication because it's quite obvious if any other suitors comes in, the price will go up and up and up. And that is the thing about transfer. Once a player is brilliant and once he's at a particular value and other clubs starts to come in, then the negotiation process will get a bit more difficult. And that can be the case by way of Moises Caicedo price tag will increase. Remember, it is valued at 100 million pounds, but if all negotiation goes well, then it can go a little bit down to like a 90 or even an 85 with some ads on. Basically, I gave you some information by way of the news for Caicedo, of course. And I just want to dive into something very quick here. How would Chelsea line up with Moises Caicedo? So I give you a few hints before that he will be playing alongside like an Enzo Fernandez, with Nkunku being ahead and other players. So let's have a quick look here on football formation with a Moises Caicedo. So Pochettino is going to be the manager, of course, and this is a potential lineup for Poch, right? Chelsea potential lineup, Poch. So in goal, Kepa, Reece James, Thiago Silva, Badashil, Chilwell, the back four. Caicedo is the man right here who will be playing as the CDM. I place Enzo Fernandez as a CM because he will be going forward more so. Madueke right wing, and Kunku attacking mid, Raheem Sterling and Jackson, who was signed from Villarreal. So of course, Caicedo is a man who will play the cleanup role here, taking the ball from a Thiago Silva or Badiashile and making the way for this man Enzo Fernandez and the front four, right? Of course, Reece James will be going ahead and sometimes Chilwell. And if there's a need for this to be split, then Caicedo can drop back right here. And even in Enzo Fernandez, depending on how the play is going on. So in that sense, Moises Caicedo is of course a central defensive midfielder. And we know that central defensive midfielders are the ones who take the ball from the back line and make the play for the others in front. Because we all know that this man, Reece James, likes to bomb forward. And sometimes Caicedo would have to back up here in the right back position for a while Reece James go forward. And Enzo Fernandez would like to connect the dots, making room for Madueke, Nkunku, Raheem Sterling, and Jackson to have a chance to score a goal. To me, it will be like possession ball game and sometimes counter in regards to Chelsea for next season. A quick thing as well, this is the formation that Pochettino normally uses because he managed Spurs for a very long time and there has been more than 200 games he managed them for, and more than 100 games he utilized a 4-2-3-1 formation. So it will be something for which Caicedo can integrate himself into because he will be a starter, of course, and Chelsea would have a better chance to dominate other teams because of the engines that will be in the midfield. So as I've said before, Caicedo will be the man to be taking the ball from the back line. Sometimes he will fit in the slot here for Reece James. He'll be breaking up plays. He's not the person that I see will do the long passes, but he have Enzo Fernandez who he can give the ball, who can string a pass to a Madueke, right? Who is very good, who can make a decent pass to Nkunku, who will score if Jackson may not get the ball. Sterling is a man who likes to plot and make passes. So, for instance, a little thing here that may happen next season, a Caicedo break up the play, pass the ball to an Enzo Fernandez, who dribble. He made room here for himself and Kunku. Boom to Nkunku. Nkunku passes the ball to like a Raheem Sterling, who would do a little thing. Jackson comes in, may dummy it, and here comes Madueke. Boom, back off the net. So that is just a quick thing about how, you know, Pochettino would line up his team. That is Chelsea next season because it is going to be the 4-2-3-1 4-3-1 formation, but of course, I was speaking directly as to how Moises Caicedo would fit in a Chelsea system. Does this make sense as a transfer? If I was Moises Caicedo, what would I do? Forget about the European competition. It is not Champions League. I knew that Chelsea has made the room clear for several players to go, and it has been done already. Give you back an example of a few. Mendy is out the door. Kante is out the door. Loftus Cheek is out the door. Joao Felix is out the door. And a few more players. So Moises Caicedo knew before that Chelsea is a team that knows how to do transfer as well. So you don't have to worry about if these players will be coming in, if those players will be going out. It is not like a United and sometimes a Liverpool is a bit edgy in terms of what they're doing, but they're more like a Man City in terms of making good transfers and making things moving fast. They're not like Spurs, who sometimes don't know what they're doing. Chelsea is one of those top clubs. It's like an upgrade to a Brighton in terms of getting transfer done, getting even players who aren't even recognized by the public and making them becoming stars. Because as I've said before, Pochettino knows how well to work with young players. And for Caicedo to go into a Chelsea system, I know that there will be a possibility whereas he will be featured in the Champions League for a few seasons to come. Chelsea is in a rebuilding process, and for Moises Caicedo to come in and make that be a thing in his mind to say that this is my aim to bring Chelsea in the top four, it will be a massive achievement for Poch, the Chelsea fan, and for Caicedo himself. Now, before I go, I just want to remind you all that the topic today was based on what's so interesting about Moises Caicedo Chelsea quest. The interesting fact about this is that Moises Caicedo made it be known that he would like to play for Pochettino, but the thing is, the price value is £100 million, and that is what is blocking what is taking place. If Moises Caicedo is being accepted at Chelsea, it will be a blessing. But guess what? Chelsea don't want to be waiting too long because other clubs will come in. But I don't think they will really have a chance to get Chelsea out of the way because Chelsea is an attractive club for Moises Caicedo. He wants to go there. If it was like a Real Madrid who need a CDM, it would be different. So I think that Moises Caicedo have a better chance of going to a Chelsea. The previous stat showed 58%, but let's wait and see what will take place within the few days into August to come. So it is my time to go. It was my pleasure to do a video like this for you in regards to giving you some breaking news for Chelsea. So you all take care, enjoy yourself, peace out, and I will speak to you in a bit. Bye bye.